And in the wake of these incessant attacks, the House of Representatives has resolved to invite President Muhammadu Buhari to explain the worsening security situation across the country. The members also resolved to suspend plenary for 3 consecutive legislative days to protest against the killing of Nigerians in cold blood by suspected herdsmen.
The House resolved that in light of Section 14, subsection 2A and B of the 1999 Constitution, which places the security and lives of the Nigerian people as the priority of government, the President has failed. It passed a vote of no confidence on all the service chiefs and all security advisors to the President, while asking the President to declare all killer herdsmen terrorists. The resolutions followed a motion on the incessant killings in Benue State, especially the last one that claimed the lives of 2 Reverend Fathers on Tuesday.
People of my constituency who are the immediate victims, I want to declare that we do not believe right now we have a government in our country, because we do not understand why the fundamental responsibility of government has completely been abdicated by this current administration, because there seems to be no moral resolve or will to tackle this matter.
Security agencies are conniving and colluding with herdsmen to destroy Benue State. It's very, very sad. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you, 22 people in my local government of Guma this morning were slaughtered in their sleep around 3 a.m. in the morning. They were killed by herdsmen. Why did I say they have the connivance of security agencies? Security agencies had deployed people in Bakin Kota, in Umenge, in Kasio, in Uka, where these people come in through Nasarawa State. All these people, security personnel, have been withdrawn. That is the route they come from.
I don't believe it is people from outside, from Libya or wherever they are. Mr. Speaker, these are terrorists that have invaded this country, and they should be declared terrorists, and we should go after them as terrorists. Mr. Speaker, you should lead us as members of the House of Representatives to protest, to go to the presidency and tell Mr. President that enough is enough.
Contributing to the debate, the members roundly condemned the killings while showing their disappointment on how the government has handled the matter.
So that he should answer questions with regard to security matters in the country. Whoever member, if any member has any question to ask, he can ask Mr. President, because he's our president. He's presiding over Nigeria, and he's the chief security officer of the country. So I move that this House summon Mr. President to appear before us to address security issues and to answer questions from members. I so move.
They stated that their decision to summon the president was because the buck stopped at his table and it was pertinent to hear directly from him.
Well, with me here in the studio to share his thoughts on the decision by the reps is journalist Yemi Saka. Yemi, it's good to have you on the Media News at this time.
Good afternoon, my honor.
Let's talk about, first of all, the 3 days that will be going in solidarity or in protest against the killings of herdsmen, rather by suspected herdsmen. How critical is it to you? Is it justifiable that 3 whole days are going for this sake?
Well, it's justifiable. Anything you have to do to pursue your demands, you should do it. And if the government is serious about the 3 days of legislative days, it means a lot. The 2008 Appropriation Act has not been passed into, the bill has not been passed into law, and a lot of issues will be stored for that 3 days?
That's the question. An analyst I spoke with earlier today said there's no point going away for 3 days. Why not sit down and bring who you need to speak with on board in those 3 days? The analyst actually called it a lazy front by the House of Reps.
But you could liken it to a strike and industrial action too, because industrial actions, you embark on industrial actions to press your demands and to make the other party.
Isn't that when the other party is not listening, the other party is not ready to consent to your demands?
But for the last, at least it's been in the news for the last 1 month or thereabout, House of Representatives and the senators were making calls, making pronouncements, deliberating on issues of national security. Nothing has been done.
Okay.
So I think it's right for them to do that, something to jolt the presidency and the executive.
Okay, and when the president finally appears before the House, what do you expect? What sort of drama or a smooth process? What do you expect to?
Well, I'm not expecting drama. At least, thank God, for the first time, President Muhammadu Buhari will be speaking to Nigerians. It's over 2 years that we had something called presidential media chat. All we've been having the last 25, 26 months is unprepared speech. And I think that platform will give Nigerians an opportunity to assess the president. Is he going to display the much needed emotional intelligence? Is he aware of a lot of things? Is he in charge? Is he in control? At least the representatives there are representing Nigerians. So if he doesn't want to address us through a presidential media chat, as long as they've summoned him, he should appear and talk to us through them.
Right, and from what happened earlier, where Nigerians deduced that the president might not have a full knowledge of what's going on to be able to surmount and end these clashes, how do you expect the president to pacify? What sort of information do you expect him to be gathering now to pacify Nigerians and for people to know that he's indeed on top of the situation and he's doing something to curb or to end the clashes?
Well, anybody that says the president is not aware or can't be, aware of everything happening in the security sector or probably security institutional architecture in the country doesn't know what he's saying.
Really?
Because the president is the chairman of the National Defense Council, okay. The president is the chairman of the National Security Council, and there's something called presidential daily intelligence briefing.
But he seemed not to be aware earlier that the police boss had not relocated.
Oh, well, it's there's someone that, because the National Assembly, as a representative, have the right to investigate inefficiency. And this is part of they want to investigate how inefficient the president is. Because you cannot tell me as a commander-in-chief, you are not aware of some critical things in your country, then you're not fit to be the commander-in-chief.
Then why did you say anyone who says that doesn't know what he's saying?
Yeah, because
you're contradicting yourself.
No, anyone that says the president is not aware or shouldn't be aware of everything that has to do with security in this country, doesn't know what he's saying. Because the president, by the virtue of his office,
should know.
Even on a daily basis, get security intelligence briefing.
Exactly.
On a daily basis.
Okay.
And there's something they call something SNE, Special National Intelligence Estimates, and there's National Intelligence Estimates. This thing comes periodically. Any serious-minded government, any serious-minded president that knows what he wants to do or what he's doing, get these things daily. Okay,
let's talk about the reports yesterday from the Afenifere group calling on the president to renounce his being the grand patron of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Herders Association. Do you think in the first place that him being part of that group has anything to do or to compromise his being the commander-in-chief of the armed forces?
You know, I will save you this. I will probably just give you the translation of it. It's like Afenifere is going after treating ringworm and living leprosy. It's denouncing what it doesn't have anything to do with it. The only thing that the most important thing it has to do is proscribe them as a terrorist organization. You see, when people cite bias, you can't fault those calls or those claims, because when Python went dancing in Abia State, under 2 weeks sanity was restored in Abia, in that zone. The cat has been racing for 2 months now, hasn't caught any mouse in North Central. So what is happening? Let's call a spade and not a cutlass. These guys are inefficient. Either they sit up or they just get out. Nigerians are dying. Now, these are human beings. We're not talking about chickens or toothpicks or probably catfish. We're talking about human beings. 17 yesterday, 17, 19 yesterday, depending on the figures you're quoting. 27, 30 today.
Okay, we'll leave it here for now. Yemi Saka, thank you very much for joining us to share your thoughts on this very important issue. Thank you.
You're welcome.